Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy DJ J Steezy.
And your Tia's favorite DJ Jedi.
Today's special guest on the Last Dope podcast, we have Ben Salorio, running for Superior Court judge, right?
That's correct. Yeah. And Chief Public Defender.
Yes.
Chief Public Defender of Imperial County.
Yeah. So, welcome to the show. And we also want to say thank you for your service.
No, my pleasure. Yeah. Thank you for the invitation, gentlemen. It's my pleasure to come and talk to anybody in Imperial County, especially podcasters like yourselves that are out there trying to, make it in the entertainment and podcasting environment. I know it's tough and slow going, much like the legal profession. It's a lot of it is unacknowledged hard work, but we put in the grind and we provide for our families.
Tell me about it. It was hard to research you, bro. Like, I know you're a family man. We love that.
Yeah.
But we want to get deep into the person. It's like, the most I found was, like, you have a love for guitars.
I do.
You have music in you. The family, I think one of your sons was also into school. Zavapa?
He's theater, yeah. He's a theater guy. He's studying music right now at IVC. He's my son, Eric.
Yeah.
And he's hoping to transfer to UCLA and continue theater and music. So
that's dope.
And then my daughter, my
I
oldest
was going to
daughter,
say, the competition right here, because she was president at IVC.
She's president at IVC, yeah. She's at San Diego State now. And
damn, that runs in the blood.
Yeah. hoping she goes to law school. I'm kind of planting that in her ear. Or she could be a teacher like her mom. My wife's a teacher. So awesome. So we'll see. Whatever I have told her, whatever you want. Just as long as you're a contributing member of society and you're helping your community out, especially, disadvantaged communities like ours. And as long as you do your part, I'll back you up, whatever you want to do.
Nice. Now, your upbringing, growing up now, did you have an attraction to law, or, how did that all come about?
So, no, initially, no.
Are you first generation?
No, I'm actually a fourth generation Imperial Valley native. So my great-grandfather, my great-great-parents came to Imperial County around 1914, 1915. That's the earliest records I can find. I actually have a copy of my great-grandfather's draft card from World War I, 1918,
Damn.
showing he was living in Calexico in 1918 off 3rd Street. So my family's been here a long time. That's on my dad's side. We're 4th generation. Happy to say my kids are now 5th generation Imperial Valley natives. So we're from here, love it here. On my mom's side, my mom's an immigrant from Mexico. Legal immigrant, everyone, relax.
Okay.
Lawful, legal immigrant. So my mom's side, the family's all from Mexico. And, love that side of my family as well.
That's dope.
So back to the question.
Sorry, yeah, I was taking a small pause to sip on this Coke. So I was born in Calexico, just like the other generations of Salorios. We were born there, and I was actually born in Calexico Hospital. That's back when Calexico used to have a hospital. So
wow.
I was born at Calexico Hospital. Grew up there, went to school there, played Little League there. Pop Warner football, wrestling. And we lived there until I was about 12 years old. And then at that point, my folks split up. And so my mom took me and my 4 brothers and moved us to El Centro. And so then I finished, my schooling in El Centro, graduated from Central Union High School. And then let me back up a little, around 17 years old, right after, in between my junior and senior years of high school, I enlisted in the Army at 17 years old.
Okay.
So because why? Well, single mom, 4 boys, there wasn't money for college, so I had to figure it out. So my family's been in the military again, going back. My great-grandfather was going to be drafted into World War I. And so there's a history of military service in my family. So I said, let me just join the Army a couple years, get some money for college, travel the world, and, just get some life experience, kind of take a break. And so, joined the Army at 17, graduated high school, and about 4 weeks later, I was shipped off to boot camp in Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah. So, the GI Bill, Oh man, that's like a big help, and it's just it's not beneficial just to you, right? It's beneficial to your family.
I agree. Yeah, that was one of the main factors for me joining the Army was to take advantage of the GI Bill. But they had another program. I don't think it exists anymore. It was called the Army College Fund. So this is way back in the day, early '90s. So if you enlisted, you got the GI Bill, and then if you took certain jobs in the Army, then you would qualify for the Army College Fund. So, for example, if you joined, like I did, the airborne infantry and jumped out of helicopters and planes and blew stuff up, if you joined artillery, tanks, everything having to do with combat arms, you would get that extra money. So me being 17, 18, being a wild guy, I was like, well, let me jump out of helicopters. That sounds pretty cool. Awesome. So I joined. I went to basic training in Georgia, Fort Benning, Georgia. Was there for 6 months, and then I was shipped off to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, which is the home base for the 101st Airborne Division, which is a very famous division in the Army. And so I was sent there, and then from there, more training. I got sent to combat medic school. Then I got sent to air assault school, which is a school where you learn how to jump out of helicopters, how to rappel, using ropes out of helicopters, how to, load things on the helicopters. And then after all that training, I got to kind of, go out throughout the country and around Central America, training with the 101st Airborne and spending time in the jungles of Panama and, training Panamanian forces and Colombian forces, doing patrol of the Panama Canal back when the U.S. still owned the Panama Canal and doing some other top secret stuff that we can't get into. I'll just remain silent on the other stuff. But yeah, no, it was a great experience, guys. It was hard, but it made me mature. So I did almost 3 years. So by the time I got out, I was 20, about to turn 21. I had traveled all over the country. I had served in Central America, did a lot of things, and matured a lot. So by the time I started IVC, I think I was turning 21. I was mentally already I felt very mature, ready for college, and more importantly, now I had the money because the Army at this point is paying for my college. So after being in the Army and, doing the stuff we did, when you're in the infantry and the airborne, you sleep outdoors. There's no cabins, there's nothing like that. So you're sleeping outdoors, whether it's hot, cold, rainy, you're in the element. So after having lived all that, it was great to get out, come to IVC. And when people were stressing about being in college, I was just smiling. I was like, this is easy. This is easy compared to what I was doing.
Right.
So, that's how I started my career. And once I got out of the Army I came out laser focused. Like, I'm going to get my education. At the time, I wasn't quite sure I was going to be a lawyer. I was thinking maybe I'll go work for the CIA. Maybe I'll work for the FBI. I need to get a bachelor's or a master's degree, so I'll just go ahead and do that. So that was my initial plan. And then around 1994, this thing happened called the O.J. Simpson trial. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember that.
I remember that.
I definitely remember that.
So once, we remember being in class at IVC, and the trial was televised. So this is the first time I actually got to see in person, like, lawyers and saw, seeing what they do. And I'm like, oh, that looks really interesting. Yeah. Like, that looks like something I could do. Like, these guys are just talking and they're getting paid, and their job is just kind of, to read material, like study psychology, sociology, sales, acting, public speaking, and then take all those skills and put them to work. I was like, that seems like a really interesting career. I didn't know any lawyers. I didn't know nothing, man. I didn't know anybody. I was just some dude from the east side of El Centro, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna figure it out.
The way he says it sounds fun, right? Because I think lawyer, like, damn, that's a lot of school. Damn, that's a lot of studying. Damn, and I'm sure it is, right?
It is. But remember where I was coming out of. I just got out of almost 3 years of living in the jungle, peeling leeches off my body,
Yeah.
Being in Panama, right? It's hot. It's humid.
I'm
going to share something here with the audience. Everybody's been in the military is going to know what I'm telling you guys is true. When you're in a jungle environment like Panama, and it rains all the time, and then it gets super hot and humid, your underwear rots off.
Damn.
Right? Your socks start rotting off. So, coming from an environment where your underwear is rotting off and you're peeling leeches off you and, you got bugs after you, you're sleeping in a hammock, you're eating crappy food. To me, just going to school was easy.
Right.
Like, it was just walking that was no big deal. And plus the Army was paying for it. So for me, I was like, this is like a vacation for me.
I got stuntman after all he went through, and now I'm going to go into law. Man, that's incredible. Man.
So when I got to IBC and I saw the OJ trial, I was like, wow, like these lawyers, like this is kind of cool because it's kind of like acting in a way. But it's also, you got to be sharp. Like you're just using your mind and your words to kind of, help out, your client or your situation. So I found that really interesting. Like you're not using any weapons. You're not using anything other than your mind and your mouth to,
right.
Kind of, it's almost like magic.
Yeah.
To produce an outcome.
Yeah.
That you hope is in your favor or your client's favor, or whatever the situation is. So,
a question I want to ask: how many Salorio brothers are there?
There's 4 official, 5 unofficial. My best friend, we adopted him, and he.
I see the post. I was like, how many brothers are there?
He grew up with us. Shout out to his nickname's Trenchy.
Yeah,
I love him. He grew up with us, so he lived with us on and off through the years. And I knew him from my Calexico days, so he's the 5th Salorio brother. So brother from another mother, but still, he calls my mom, and he's a brother. So officially, blood brothers, there's 4 of us. Unofficially, there's 5 of us.
Gotcha. And you're running for Superior Court judge. What is the role of a Superior Court judge?
So Superior Court judge.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, here's what I like sharing with voters and people. A judge is almost, in some ways, I'm going to simplify it. It's almost like you're an umpire at a game, right? Or a referee in a boxing match, right? You're there to make sure that the rules are followed, that the playing field is even, that both sides get a chance to play the game or present their cases. And at the end, you're there to basically, as an umpire, call ball, strike, home runs, whatever the situation is. So what a judge in some respects does is they hear disputes from the community that are brought to them, and you make a decision based on the law, the way the law is written, and based on what side has the burden of proof. So when you go to court, one person will have the burden of proof, meaning it's your job to present your case and convince a judge or jury that you're right and that, he scratched your car, so he needs to pay you $5,000, right, to fix it. So it's your burden to prove that. And so, in essence, judges are there to settle disputes in the community. It can be anything from a criminal law case to a civil law case to small claims to family court. Right, where people are getting divorced.
Is that different than a municipal judge, or is it
no
longer a thing?
It's no longer a thing. There used to be a difference between superior and municipal court. So maybe close to 30 years ago almost, maybe 25, 30 years ago. Okay. California got rid of that, and it's just one unified superior court. And so the court system, a judge hears just anything. It could be civil law, it could be criminal law, family law, adoptions, juvenile law, like kids committing crime, adoptions. So there's a whole range of different things a judge can hear.
Things that wouldn't be in court, maybe like tax or immigration?
Correct, because those are federal. Those are specifically federal areas of law, so you'd have to go to federal court to deal with those. So this race that I'm in now is for a local superior court. There's going to be a vacancy on the court. A judge will be retiring. So thankfully, the thing that's different, guys, is that I would say 75, 80% of the time, when there's a vacancy in the court, the governor in Sacramento gets to appoint the judge.
Oh, nice.
Okay. But this is one of those kind of different exceptions where you, directly. You, the voters, get to pick who your judge should be. So that's one thing I like bringing up with everybody is saying, hey, my friends, like you guys are the bosses. You decide who your next judge is going to be. And so I think an important thing to keep in mind is since the voters and all you guys are the hiring committee.
No, I love it. But before, were you guys voted in by like your superiors, or how did they work before?
So the way it works, and it's like this. In I think most states it's like this. Usually, the governor will appoint judges from the local superior court, the appellate court, all the way to the state Supreme Court. Okay. Now, the criticism of that system is that if you're not connected, or you're not part of the political party that's in power, or of the governor, you could be as qualified as I am. You're not going to get the time of day, right? Because a governor or a political party will install people from their own, persuasion. Not a critique. That's just the way it is. Both parties do it, so I'm not blaming one side or the other. So that's the way it is in most states. California has this interesting hybrid system where there are some situations where it actually goes to the voters. Like in this case right here, it's going to the voters, which is great because it lets us as candidates go directly to you, the voter, and say, hey, listen, here are my qualifications. Here's why I know I'm the best candidate. I'm not saying I think I'm the best candidate. I know I'm the best candidate. And let me show you why. And so you get to talk to voters directly and show them, hey, man, here's everything I've done. Here's my accomplishments. Here's my awards. As opposed to it going to Sacramento and, you don't know what the criteria is, or you don't know if you're going to get chosen. And, so this is much more direct.
Okay.
And I like it better because there's more community involvement. Me as just a person living here in Imperial County, I think we need to be in charge of our own local institutions of government, and we should be deciding who sits on the Superior Court,
100% agree with that.
Who sits on City Hall, who sits on the Board of Supervisors, who's the district attorney, who's in the IAD. I think that's the best way locally for Imperial County for democracy to work in action.
I love it.
And I think candidates like myself coming directly to you guys, the voters, saying, hey, guys, here's what I'm about. Here's my connection to this valley. Here's why I know I'm the best choice, I think is a better fit for us in Imperial County than leaving it up to Sacramento and the criticisms of that system. By the way, I'm not criticizing anybody that's been appointed or anything like that. I'm just sharing my opinion.
Right, because he might run for you as district court judge. So we need the president to be like...
No, but see, that's those never go to election. That's always
right,
the
that's
president.
Always the president.
Right. Always the president. Yes, and again, right now, as you can guess, we have a Republican president, so who he's going to appoint? People of that persuasion. That's fine, because when the Democrat president was in before, he appointed people of his persuasion. And so, that's the critique, is that you exclude a lot of qualified candidates that don't fit the mold. For example, this race is nonpartisan. It's not part of any political party. I'm registered independent. I've been an independent for probably like 14, 15 years. So, it's not a Democrat, Republican, libertarian issue. It's nothing like that.
So with that being said, what would you say your judicial philosophy is?
I like the judicial philosophy of a traditional jurist, meaning that we have three branches of government, right? We have the executive branch, right, which is, the governor, the president, stuff like that, law enforcement. We have the legislature, which writes the laws. So the legislature could include city council, board of supervisors, and the voters yourselves, right? When you vote to change a law, we take signatures. So the voters can also write laws. And at the end is the judge, the judicial branch. All a judge can really do, or what a judge should do, is take the law as it's written and then apply it to the case that's before him or her. And so that's the way I see the philosophy as a judge, is that, I've had some people ask me already on the campaign trail, well, how do you feel about, this law, or do you think crimes, should we be tougher on crime? Should we be more lenient? And I said, I'm not allowed to comment on that, but if you want tougher laws, tougher penalties, or easier penalties, you need to discuss that with the legislature and the candidates for assembly and the candidates for governor, not a judge. A judge can't change the law other than to say this is unconstitutional. a judge has to take the law as it's written and apply it to your situation. Right? So if you get a speeding ticket and you go to court and you fight it and you tell the judge, well, I don't agree that the speeding, the speed limit's 70 miles an hour. I think it should be 90. That judge can't rewrite that law for you. Right. The judge has to say, well, sorry, sir.
That's the law.
Law is 70 miles an hour, so
my car says I could go 110.
Yeah, right? And well, in Germany, they can go like 200
on the Autobahn.
So as a judge, you can't change the law just because it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to change it. You can't do that. Much like a referee or an umpire in boxing can't just change the rules in the middle of a game and be like, oh, guess what? Like it's 4 outs, or 4 strikes and you're out. No.
I'm gonna bring that up to my supervisors because you brought up a good point.
Yeah,
we had an eating contest and they're like, okay, first one to finish this pie, cool. And it was hard because they couldn't use their hands. It wasn't taped to the table. Mm-hmm. And during the middle of it, they're like, hey, just tell them to stop in 10 seconds to who eats the most. I was like, I can't change the rules while they're going. They're going to die. I was like, oh, shit, yeah, 10, 9, all right, stop.
Exactly. So to answer your question, yeah, so the role of a judge is to be there. Number one, you should want a judge, and I'm talking to everybody, you should want a judge, number one, who's experienced, right? Because you need a judge that has a lot of experience, who can prove that, they've done the work, that can work in a high-pressure environment, that knows the law. And number two, that's respectful and professional, right? We understand that some of these court hearings are emotional for everybody involved, so you got to be, you got to know that. You got to know how to work under pressure, but also know how to keep, things under control and within a time limit. And you have to be respectful to people. Remember, as a judge, you're a community servant. We serve the community, right? So, just because, if I'm elected, just because I'm a judge doesn't mean I'm better than you or worse than you. Like, I'm a community servant just like you, and I'm asking to be put in a job where I think I can help the community. So my job is if elected, is to be there, be an experienced, person on the bench, respectful, somebody local too, somebody that you can say, hey, you know what? No matter what happens, I know Ben, he's a local guy, he's a military veteran, and he's experienced, and, I may not agree with it, but I know he's being fair, and he's following the law, and he's giving everybody a chance to state their case. And I think that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah. You know how you said that what got you into it was the O.J. Simpson case?
Yes.
Right, and it was kind of like acting. So speaking on acting, when it comes to, like, Law and Order, or the show Suits, like, do you sit there and watch it and be like, they're doing that wrong? Or it's just
yes, I try not to watch any of those shows just because it feels like I'm at work. And then number two, I start critiquing, like, that would never happen. That would never happen. You would get disbarred if you did that. The judge would fine you for doing that. Your client will report you to the state bar for that. So remember, Hollywood's Hollywood. They're there to entertain. There are a lot of things that happen that are correct when they show courtrooms and attorneys and judges. There's a lot of stuff that's just there for entertainment and shock value. And sometimes I tell people that things that happen in real life in court sometimes are more entertaining than what you see on TV. I try not to watch those types of shows just because I just get frustrated.
Because I binge watch Suits.
Do you?
And I binge watched the whole thing, and I was just like, man. I was like, maybe I should have become a lawyer.
But never too late. I went to law school. One of my classmates, I went to law school. She was a grandma. She was 64 years old.
Wow.
She started law school. 64, and her whole life she had been, stay-at-home mom and grandma, and then finally her kids were grown, and she was like, you know what? I'm going to law school. I don't care. And we graduated. I think she was 67 when we graduated. So, and she got her law degree, law license, and was practicing. I don't know if she's still alive, but
I didn't want to ask. I was thinking it. But
this is 25 years ago, man. So it's do the math.
That's dope.
But she didn't care. She was like, "No, I'm doing it."
Yeah, it's never too late.
No, it's not.
Never too late. Yeah,
it's not. But it's gonna be work, just like anything.
All right,
it's gonna be work.
I want to go back.
Go way back.
I want to say childhood, growing up. Yep. Favorite foods or food that mom would make. And then what kind of music was playing in the background that you recall?
So, growing up, so I was of a generation, like, old school generation. My mom's old school, Mexican mom. So you ate at home, right?
Right.
You guys have heard this. Hay comida en la casa.
Oh yeah.
Hay comida en la casa. So there was no going to McDonald's or Pizza Hut. Maybe once in a very blue while, like a treat. Maybe once every, I don't know, 4 months or something. You got McDonald's or maybe you got Pizza Hut. But hay comida en la casa.
Right.
There's food at home. And then I'm gonna give my mom a hard time. Back then, my mom used to make homemade tortillas for us, 3-4 times a week, dude. So we had homemade tortillas. We had, the typical stuff. So I would say my favorite meal has always been breakfast. So my mom's homemade tortillas, just some scrambled eggs and some potatoes, man. Or chorizo con papas with, chorizo con huevo with my mom's homemade tortillas, dude. I'd still put that at the top of my list. Yep. And then as far as the culture growing up, man, I'm one of those interesting Gen Xers where I kind of got to live in the old world before computers, before cable TV, before cell phones, before all that stuff. So I remember that stuff. I remember, like, as a kid, you went and played out in the street summertime till the lights came on.
Yeah.
And then you came back into the house and, there was no cable or anything like that. So you just kind of played, with my brothers or with, little army men and that was that. So yeah, I got to kind of experience that. And then as far as, entertainment, I was also there when, cable TV came out and then MTV, right? So then by the time I'm in, like middle school, like MTV is in full bloom. Oh, this is the mid 80s. And so we've got everything you can do. We got Madonna, we've got Michael Jackson, we got Prince, we got the beginnings of like, hard rock, like Motley Crue, Poison, Quiet Riot. So there was just a whole bunch of stuff coming out in the culture, and then movies, right? I remember E.T., like Back to the Future, Teen Wolf, Aliens. Or the first. I remember I was there when these were first coming out. So that
Goonies,
yeah. Terminator. I remember the Terminator.
You gave me a flashback
out.
Going to like, what was it, Video 2000, and seeing the cutouts, and you're like, or the posters. It's like, can I have that one?
So I got to really experience all that, and then got to experience. Remember, guys, this is back when you listen to the radio and hope that your song would come on, or you'd call Q96. I'd be like, hey, can you play whatever, Michael Jackson, whatever, Thriller, and this and that, and then you put the cassette in the tape deck and hope that the DJ stopped talking so you can
we went through that.
Record the song. So,
Oh, shit.
And then I remember the transition from records to cassette tapes, and then from cassette tapes to CDs. That happened when I was in high school. So we had cassettes. All of a sudden, like maybe my senior year, I remember CDs starting to kind of come out, right? And then, so I remember that transitioning happening. And then the crazy thing, so I joined the Army, I leave. When I'm in the Army, I start hearing this stuff about computers and this thing called the internet or interweb, and these things called pagers and cell phones. And again, I'm in the Army, we're traveling all over the world, so we're not really like connected. So by the time I get out of the Army and start IVC, it's like there's this thing called the internet, there's computers at home, there's pagers, there's big old cell phones that look like a Lego set, right, that you can get at Radio Shack. So
a brick.
So I felt like weird. I got out of the Army and I'm like, what world is this in? What world are we in now? Right. So it was really interesting to kind of experience all that. So again, I'm one of these people, I guess lucky, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, that I've lived in both worlds.
Same with us. Yeah.
Lived in both worlds. And I remember seeing stuff like this on Star Trek, where around Star Trek, where they would use it to, talk to people on video and communicate and stuff.
Imagine our great grandparents or grandparents to tell them, one day you'll be able to put your meal in a box and it'll cook itself.
Yeah.
And you're like that.
Yeah. And to see where we're at now, I do kind of miss that the old world. I guess I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah.
There was a certain, there was more, at least growing up here in Calexico and in the Valley, I felt like a lot more closeness, a lot more community, because we were all playing outside with each other. We all played Little League. We all played Pop Warner football. There was no computers. There was really no video games other than Atari, but like you had to be rich to kind of have an Atari. So everybody, we just kind of played outside.
Like you mentioned sports, what positions?
So I always wanted to do boxing, wrestling, and football. So my parents were like, "No, you're gonna hurt yourself." So they made me play baseball, man. From
Then he ends up jumping out of planes.
yeah, exactly. That rebel.
You showed him. See, mom.
See, it's
I do what I want.
all that repressed energy had to go out. So I played Little League, Calexico Little League, from first grade all the way through maybe fifth or sixth. So finally in sixth grade, I think my dad and mom were like, "All right, you can play Pop Warner football. Okay, you can join the wrestling team." I was like, "Yes." Nothing against baseball. Like I loved it, but that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to play football. I wanted to wrestle. I wanted to go boxing. So finally, once I started playing football, Pop Warner, and then wrestling, both in Calexico. Shout out to Coach Abe Sanchez, great coach, old school coach from Calexico, and retired police officer. He was our coach for junior wrestling, and so I loved it. Oh man, I loved it. And then when we moved to El Centro, I kept it up. I played football at Central. Was on the wrestling team at Central. Did a little bit of boxing here at the old 8th Street gym in El Centro, the old hut.
Yeah.
Did a little boxing there, but I just couldn't do it because I was doing football, wrestling, and then boxing. It was too much. So I kept it to football and wrestling, and then eventually I just kept it to wrestling, and then transitioned into wrestling and martial arts.
That's dope.
Now, speaking how you were talking about the old world, were you a fan of Stranger Things?
I've only seen the first season, and so I appreciated it. But at the same time, it was hard for me to keep up week after week after just with my job and other activities. It's hard for me to keep up with a lot of these shows. But I appreciated the sentiment behind it, and it gave me nostalgia. I was like, dude, that's how I grew up. Like playing with all my friends at the park. They were playing Dungeons and Dragons. We kind of had that when we grew up, but not really. We played marbles and other stuff, but that sense of community, right? Where
that 80, and it was just that the way that whole vibe of the 80s is. It was awesome to go back, and it takes you back.
It does.
It takes you back, and I applaud Netflix and Stranger Things for taking us back.
Yeah,
and I think that's why a lot of the older generation like us they appreciate that show. Yeah, so.
But that's the only season I saw. I didn't keep up with anything else just because with work and other stuff. And then just on a personal level, I try to limit my my media consumption. I prefer reading books and doing other stuff just because it's probably better for my my balance. I like keeping balance in my life.
That's
so
good.
I feel like it's more balancing for me not to watch a lot of TV. But that's a personal choice, and everybody can choose whatever entertainment they want. I much prefer to read a book or meditate or go.
So when it comes to books, are you more fictional or non-fictional?
Both.
Okay.
Both. So I usually am reading 3 to 4 books at a time. My wife, when we first met and got together, she's like, "You're crazy, man. I've never seen anybody read like you." And I'm like, "Hon, I'm reading law books all day. When I come home, I need to to read, Tom Clancy, or I need to read some crazy zombie vampire book and something else, and then I'll balance that out with some, philosophy book or a religious history book. So, I mix it up. Nothing too serious.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like if you ask me, like, "Are you reading anything, life changing other than the Bible?" Like, no, not really, dude. I'm reading zombie books and other stuff.
Gotcha. I saw on one of your posts because I try to deep dive into his background. Like if I was doing his job, I couldn't find anything, but I did see some pictures. You like to travel, also see shows. You and your wife fans of Mind Freak, Chris Angel?
So yes, I've always been a fan of stage magic and card tricks, and especially there's a specialty in magic called mentalism. That's where right?
You guess the answer or what they're thinking before they even think it.
They mess with your mind. There's no props. They're just, they tell you to think something or on your phone and they guess it. So I was always really drawn to that aspect of performance. And I appreciate the art and the hard work it takes to.
Are you doing it right now?
No, I'm
we
not.
Wouldn't know.
No.
We wouldn't know.
I have no training in
okay.
it. I'd love to. Maybe one day, but I appreciate the. We as audience members, we get the effect, but we don't see the hard work behind it. And there's a lot of subtlety, and that's why I don't like those shows where they show you the trick behind the,
Oh,
the
gotcha.
effect.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
like
yeah.
that because I think it robs you of that magic and that wonder of seeing it, right? And you know, feeling like a kid, like how did he levitate? How did he do that?
Yeah, it's like
So
killed
that-
Christmas.
Yeah, but yeah, if anybody ever gets a chance, I'd recommend go watch the Chris Angel live show in Vegas if you get the chance. It's really good, and he's really good. He's a good performer, and again, he's been doing it for a long time, so I'm not surprised. But you know, it's a lot. It's hard work.
Have you gone to any shows with the mentalists or just watch on TV? I've seen some on TV, on podcasts.
I have not had the chance. We were trying to catch a mentalist show in Vegas, but it coincided with the Chris Angel show. So my wife and I said, we're going to go catch some Chris Angel. But no, I recommend it, including a hypnotist too. Like those are funny too. And there's a whole science behind that hypnotism, and it's interesting. You know, some people can be hypnotized easily, some can't. There's a whole science behind that.
I wouldn't know if it's like the smarter you are or the not so smarter you are. I mean,
that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's based on just your personality type either, or on different things. I'm gonna have to. I think Joe Rogan had a hypnotist, or has had hypnotists on his shows, and I think they explain like what they look for when they can get somebody quick, and how.
It's crazy how the mind works, right?
Very interesting. Very. And, you know, for the people that know how to do it, it's great. Think about advertising, right?
yeah.
Any kind of advertising. Like, those guys know how to work your, you know, people's minds and emotions and colors and scents and how to set things up. And it's, trust me, man, they all these commercials we see are just psychological operations geared to make us buy whatever product or, you know, say yes to whatever it is they're proposing.
And now it's just you're just talking, and then the ads just pop up on your phone.
Oh yeah,
right.
That's crazy.
Next thing, your phone's gonna pop up with a Chris Angel advertisement or something,
Right.
and just watch.
Yeah, it's crazy how technology's working.
Yes.
Anything you want to share with the voters out there? Another reason why you're the best candidate for the position?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, just to share with you guys, because you guys are the voters, along with the public out there, is that you know, one of the things that I bring to the table that I don't think anybody else has is the experience. And what do I mean by experience? I've been practicing criminal law, especially litigation. That is, you're actually in front of a jury performing with a live client that's facing life sentence or life sentences, and, you know, really serious, high level legal cases. So I've been doing that for 25 years. So I'm currently the chief public defender of Imperial County. What that means is I run the public defender's office, and so I'm the chief. So I have an office. We've got 18 attorneys, 3 full-time investigators, 7 paralegals, and so we do about 90 to 95% of all the legal work in Imperial County for people that can't afford an attorney. So I've been doing that for almost 25 years. I've been the chief for almost a decade. So, you know, I've done every type of case you can think of, from multiple murders to kidnappings to arson to, you know, sexual assaults, insanity trials. I've represented children. I've represented mentally ill people who are in institutions. I'd practiced in family and civil law for a little bit when I was in private practice. I was a prosecutor. That's how I started my career up in Oakland, being a DA. Then I was a DA here. So I have a really well-rounded legal expertise. So I understand the law from different angles. But more importantly to you guys and to the viewers out there is, you know, when you look at me, you're going to see somebody who's absolutely prepared. I've been doing this for 25 years at a very, very high level. And what I ask the voters to look at is, don't take my word for it. Just because I'm saying I'm the best, look at my record, look at my awards, because that's other people confirming that what I'm saying is true. So, for example, I was nominated and awarded the Trial Attorney of the Year by the Imperial County Bar Association, and that was based on my extensive trial work. And so the Bar Association is made up of a bunch of different lawyers, some of them that don't even work with me. And so these are outside things you can look at that back up what I'm saying. And then this past year, I was very happy to be inducted into the IVC Hall of Fame. So I'm a graduate of IVC, and so
Congrats.
they looked at They looked at my work in the legal community the past 25 years, what I've done with, with the mentally ill, the work I've done for children, with other communities out there, and they said, you know what, this guy represents what IVC is about, and we recognize that he's a great lawyer. And so I was given the award. I was inducted into the Hall of Fame based on my legal work in this community, and work I do with the youth. I do a lot of work with youth, behind the scenes, telling them to keep up their educations, don't drop out, helping them go into IVC. So, and then besides that, guys, also keep in mind I'm a military veteran. Imperial County has not had a judge that's a military veteran in over 23 years. The last judge we had that was a military veteran was appointed by Governor Gray Davis in 2003. So we currently have 0 military veterans serving as judges. And to me, that's unacceptable. Like, that's just unacceptable. You can't just ignore military veterans and not, appoint us judges because we don't happen to be your same political party or whatever the situation may be. So I want the voters to know, when you're looking at me, you're looking at somebody who's absolutely 100% prepared for the job, is experienced, is tied to the community. Guys, I'm a fourth generation, and my kids are fifth generation. My wife's a school teacher here at Heber. This is our community. We live here. We work here. We've raised our family here. I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm one of you. I'm one of you guys. And so it's important for a judge to have local connections, to be prepared, professional, accessible, humble, right? Because we do serve the people. We serve you. And more importantly, for my veteran community out there, I want to represent all the good, the war fighters, the men and women from our community that are veterans that are saying, hey, man, how come we're not getting anybody appointed judges? Like, what's going on with that? So I want to change that and say, no, we're putting a stop to that. We've had 3 different governors now, both Democrats and Republicans. We had Governor Schwarzenegger come and go. We had, what was his name? Jerry Brown come and go. Now we're having Gavin Newsom come and go. All of them did 2 terms. All 3 of them had the opportunity to appoint a military veteran as a judge that was qualified, including me and 2 other veterans that I know, and they didn't do it. So when somebody ignores you guys for 23 years, that's not an accident. It's on purpose. So, I want our listeners out there and the voters to know that we're going to put a stop to that. There's no excuse to not put a veteran on the bench, especially a veteran like me that's extremely qualified, that's local, that is responsive to the community, to your needs and wants, and that has skin in the game. Like, my family lives here. My grandma's almost 100 years old in Calexico. She lives here. I care about this community, and I hope it shows in the work I've done and in my record of accomplishment. So it's not just me saying, I think I'm the best candidate, I'm the best attorney. I'm showing you my awards, and from other organizations reaffirming that, no, I'm a really good attorney. And I'm good at what I do, and I'm a professional. And more than that, again, I'm a husband, I'm a father. My wife and I, we go to church here at St. Mary's. We brought up our kids here. This is my community, and I'm ready to continue serving the Valley, but now in a different capacity, now as a judge who's going to be experienced, responsive, respectful to you, and that's going to give you a fair shake. And I want you to come away, if I'm elected, if you ever come before my courtroom, to feel, hey, you know what? I was treated with respect, with dignity. I was given the opportunity to present my case, and I feel I was treated fairly. So, to the voters out there, to you guys, it would be my honor to be your next judge, and I hope you really look at not just my record, anybody else who is deciding to run, and compare records, like who's got awards, who doesn't have awards, who's talking, who's backing it up,
who's put in the time,
put in the time, the work, the blood, sweat, and tears.
And to be really big on the community, that says a lot.
Absolutely,
that says a lot, and it shows a lot. So, but yeah, onto you play guitar, right?
I try. I'm the most accomplished beginning. I've been a beginning guitarist for like 40 years. That's what I tell people. I'm a beginning guitarist, right? So yeah, I love guitar. Guitar is. I think guitar's been my first love. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I think guitar followed by like old school muscle cars, from the 70s, like
Okay.
Camaros and Barracudas. But guitars have been my love since I can remember. I love them.
Is there family plays or?
Yeah, my grandfather played guitar and piano and accordion. My uncles played guitar. My cousins play guitar. My brothers play guitar.
Oh, shit.
I love guitars and both acoustic and electric. I learned on acoustic, but I'm drawn to electric, obviously. But acoustic sometimes just easier to pick up. But I'm not saying I'm good. I'm not saying I'm gonna join the Rolling Stones. But I enjoy it. It's a hobby. I enjoy it, and I enjoy collecting guitars too.
Okay.
Buying and collecting guitars.
Who would you say your top 3 guitarists are?
Oh, top 3. These are just going to go in random order. So these are guitarists that have influenced me. I'm going to say Keith Richards, Rolling Stone, probably number 1. Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin, and I'm going to go Eric Clapton.
Yeah,
Okay.
solid.
Big 3.
Nice.
But I would say Keith Richards, Jimmy Page are probably my foundation.
Hell yeah.
My
Nice.
foundation right there. Yeah, and a shout out to Muddy Waters too.
Okay.
Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf laid the foundation in the late 40s, early 50s for rock and roll, and then blues rock, and everything like that.
Nice.
So honorable mention, Muddy Waters, and Muddy Waters, honorable mention.
Okay. All right. We do play a game on this show.
All right.
All right. It's called Yo Sabo.
Okay.
All right. And guys, you can pick it up on the TikTok shop. Yo Sabo game. So we're gonna go. Let's see. What do you think? Let's go five cards.
Whatever. I mean, three out of 5.
Okay.
We usually do 3, but I think yesterday we did 5, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we could go.
If he knocks out the first 3, it's cool.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Okay, Ben.
All right. Let's go.
How do you say lightning in Spanish?
Relámpago.
Yeah.
¿Cómo se dice tobillo in inglés?
Ankle.
Okay.
Damn, I didn't know that one. He's good.
And how do you say mailbox in Spanish?
Buzón.
Ben is a Yo Sabo.
Sí, sabe.
Yes, he is.
Remember, my mom's from Mexico, so my first language these years ever heard were probably Spanish.
All right. Yeah.
Just saying that.
I just picked up all the bad words from work.
Well, Ben, it was a pleasure having you on, and thank you for coming out. We greatly appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. My pleasure. And again, we're on social media, so my website is about to go active here probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. There's some stuff we need to set up, unfortunately, legally with elections and websites, especially for judges. So the website will be up. It will be Ben 4, the number 4, ben4judge.com. So that'll be coming out hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and there'll be some biographical info, hopefully some pictures of my awards, and probably a QR code for donations. We're a grassroots campaign, folks. It's me, my wife, and my kids, so we're happy to accept any donations. Anything you can give is appreciated. Would be put to use here locally. And on Instagram, our campaign page is Ben4Judge. Again, Ben, B-N, number 4, Judge. On Instagram, on Facebook, it's Ben Salorio for Superior Court Judge. Those are the campaign pages. Please check them out. Like, share. Questions, just shoot them out. I try to be responsive. Just keep in mind that as a judicial candidate, by state ethical rules, we are not allowed to talk about how we would rule on any cases,
Of course.
or we can't comment on any current cases. So I know people have been asking me at different events and parades, what do you think about the data center in Imperial? There's a lawsuit. I can't comment. What do you think about the immigration raids? ICE. I can't comment. That's in litigation. What do you think about, this or that IID? I can't comment. All I can say is I'm qualified to be your next Superior Court judge. I have the training, the experience. I'm a military veteran. And as your judge, I promise you that I'm going to do the best job that I can for you and to welcome you to the courtroom, to my courtroom, treat you with respect, give you a fair shake, and give you the opportunity to be heard. And remember, I'm a member of this community. This is my home. I'm not going anywhere. And it would be my honor to be selected as your next Superior Court judge. And thanks for having me here, guys.
Thank you,
and my pleasure. I do have just some not a trivia, but just something unrelated to law. If anybody's interested in a good book recommendation, we can talk about that real quick.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm kind of a history nerd, right? So that was my major in college. So if you've ever wondered like why the U.S. got so good after World War II, why did we get so good with technology? Like how did we get to the moon so quick? How did we get here so quickly? There's a really good reason for it, and the reason is probably going to surprise you if you don't know it. So here's the name of the book. It's a book. It's also an audiobook, and the author's name is Annie Jacobson. The book is called Operation Paperclip. Okay, Operation Paperclip. That was the name of the secret program that the U.S. government put in right as World War II was ending. And the CIA wasn't formed yet, but it was in the process of being formed. And what they decided was Nazi Germany has been kicking our butt in technology, in everything. We just managed to win because we had more people, more arms, more money, but they were whooping our butts technologically. So what the U.S. government decided to do was go in and said, why don't we take all these Nazi war criminal scientists and all their technology and bring it to us and make it a part of the U.S. program. And so that's what we did under this thing called Operation Paperclip. So the author, Annie Jacobson, she's a writer for the LA Times and has won a bunch of awards. So she goes into this secret program on how we got so good so quickly is because I'm not going to say we stole the technology, but
I would.
guys, we stole the technology and we stole the scientists, and the government just kind of erased their Nazi past and gave them citizenship. Oh. And so anyways, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, like it's a kind of a World War II thriller novel, but it's true. It's nonfiction. It's true. It's called Operation Paperclip. Annie Jacobson, she's on the Joe Rogan podcast multiple times. You can watch her discussing that book. So anyways, for any history nerds out there like me, World War II, check out that book or audiobook or check out the podcast with Joe Rogan. I think you're going to enjoy it, and it's going to make you kind of sit back and question, okay, am I comfortable with how the U.S. got to be so technologically superior, knowing what we did and how we got it? So hopefully nothing controversial there, but anyways, just a little nerdy book recommendation for anybody who's interested in going into any of that.
Cool.
All right.
Love it.
Nice.
So anyways, guys, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. This is fun.
Thank you, brother.
This is fun. This is fun.
Guys, don't forget to vote.
Thank you. Please get out there and vote.
Yeah,
June 2nd, 2026 is the election. Ballots go out a month before, so ballots should be going out around May 2nd or 3rd. Please read all the information carefully. Look at my accomplishments, my background, and I think you'll come away with the same conclusion I have, is that I'm the best qualified, most qualified, and the best choice and fit for this Imperial Valley. So thank you, everyone out there. God bless everyone, and have a good night. Thank you, gentlemen.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.